I'm Dipali from Instrovate Technology, and I will be your mentor for Data Foundation. So here we'll be discussing lots of things about the data as you are starting your journey towards the data domain side. So yeah, I am Microsoft certified trainer and consultant. I uh, conduct the certified training across the globe, and my expertise includes with Power Platform, Dynamics 365, ERP, and CRM, also with Azure side, and also artificial intelligence. So whatever the courses I do take, conduct the trainings, it revolves around all those things. Apart from this, when I'm not into training, I am into the consulting where I work on different projects. So yeah, and this was something about me, and I will be your mentor for the Data Foundation. I will be explaining each and every part of right from what is data, what are different categories of data, what are different process that we are going to see. So there are lots of things, and it's just a theoretical part so that you get familiar with the data domain side. After that, you will be all moving towards your Excel, SQL, Python, and Power BI, Power Apps. So along with the Data Foundation, I will be also your mentor for the Power BI. I will be the one who will be taking all your sessions for the Power BI. So let's get started, guys. Okay. I will share my screen. I will start with my presentation, and I hope everyone has got their access for the Canvas application. So as you all know, in the Canvas application, we have all our recordings and all the PPTs, and everything will be going live. So that's only for you to start reviewing whenever you get time. You can go through those recordings and all those stuff. Rest, each and every part will be covered in a live mentor session itself. Okay, so let's get started, and I will share my screen with you, and just give me a second. It's just a theoretical part for you to understand all the concepts related to the data. So there are no assignments or all those stuff over there. So I hope my screen is visible to everyone. Just give me a quick confirmation. Just hold on. Yeah, is it visible? Yeah. Thank you, Nabil. Okay. All right, so let's get started with our data foundation. So
Yeah,
as I told
sorry.
you, yeah,
Just one
yeah,
question because you said
yes.
about the startup application. I haven't received anything yet. I just got this
Okay,
meeting invitation only. That's the reason.
uh, what you got?
So you are telling me about this application, your application link and everything, right? For the
Yeah, yeah. Have you got, you haven't got that access to this?
no, I got just an email which is talking about this meeting request only, and
Okay, okay.
I haven't received any other messages from you guys. So could you please
All
tell me
right.
it's come from which email? Then I can do a search as well again.
Okay, okay. I think, see, the very in the very first email itself, you must have got your all the team links, right? And also there would be the another attachment that shows you or tells you that how you're going to access the Canvas application.
Actually, I don't think like me. I can search it. I have only one email.
Yeah, okay, show me, let me see. If you haven't got it, no worries, I will ask my team to give you that access, but I think it should very first onboarding email you should get those things. So
I'll
just
share
show,
my
yeah, just show me that email and let me check.
I'll share my screen.
Yeah, yeah, please.
So it, uh,
Just give me a second. Okay.
so
All right.
basically,
So,
I just searched
okay,
very few
apart
minutes.
from this, you haven't got anything?
So
What is
introvert,
that? Yeah, course onboarding process.
that's only
Click on
one which I
that.
just got. Is that what you're
Okay.
saying?
Okay. No, no, no. That's not the email that I was looking for. Okay. Okay. Don't worry, Nabir. I will give you the access once our session is done. Okay.
No problem. No problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So
I'm,
no,
I'm sure
you
they have.
haven't got, yeah, you haven't got that.
Yep.
So yeah, I will ask my team to give you that. Okay.
No problem. No problem.
Okay. So in that, actually, in that Canvas application, we have everything. You can stop sharing. All the courses that you are going to get. And just give me a second. Yeah. Okay, guys. Sorry. Yes, we can start it. Yeah, Nabir, I have just had a word with my team, so they will just give you all the access for the Canvas application. What about you, Gilbert? Have you got the access to the Canvas application?
Canvas application, I just have this link I'm using right now to join the meeting.
And okay, all right. So I will just check with my team if you haven't got any the this thing, no, access of this access of our Canvas application. I will have a word because I have just talked with my one of the team member. They will give you access if you don't have. Okay, so you don't need to worry about those things. Okay, and Keshav, can you hear me? Because I don't know if you're like my voice is audible to you, or are you saying something? Okay, all right, guys. So about the access for the Canvas application, don't worry. Once the session has been done, I will make sure that you all get the access like tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
So this is something, yeah. Okay, so just hold on. Yeah, so we will quickly start with our data foundation. Okay, so whatever the things that I'm going to, discuss with you all, everything is present in our Canvas application. So as I told you, all your recorded videos, all the PPTs, your assignments, each and everything is on Canvas. So by tomorrow, I will make sure that everyone gets the access of it, right? So don't worry about that. Okay, so let's get started with the data foundation. So as I was saying that you all are starting your journey with the data. So it's important for you all to understand what is data, what is different types of data, what are different categories, what are the different process that we are going to go for data analytics. So it's equally important for you to understand all those stuff. So as you will make a progress um, in your this data journey, you will everything is going to make sense. So it's just a theoretical part, just to get you all familiar with the data domain. Okay, so it's maybe lots of things will be not clear in one go, but you don't have to worry. Once you'll be shifting towards making progress, you will get and understand each and every part of it. Okay, so let's get started with the data foundation. So let me start with the agenda first. All right. So in this data foundation, so this is an agenda for this course. First thing, we will be starting with a software development. We'll see what is the software development, what is its two important pillars. Once it's done, then we'll start talking a lot about the data and its role. Then we'll be shifting our focus towards the transactional system and what is analytical system. So as a data analytics analyst, you are not only going to work with the data, but you also know the different data processing system. So this is where the some concepts of transactional system and analytical system has been added over here. Then we'll start all the discussion about the complete ecosystem of data. What are the different, where you are going to get data from different business scenarios. So there are lots of concepts, and so let's get started with it. So very first thing that we are going to discuss is about the software development. So in general term, if I say what is software development, it's a process of creating, designing, coding, and maintaining the computer programs and the applications. So to maintain all the software components, you will be using different, or we can say various programming languages. So in any software development life cycle, if I talk about that, so software development consists of very first thing in a life cycle when you are making any kind of application. So first thing what you do is you do the planning and designing. So planning is something where you define the structure of your project. Basically, you does the requirement analysis over here. Then you will be going for the designing, where you will be defining those objectives, basically the blueprints of your project. So once your planning and designing is done, the third life cycle stage that comes in any software development is coding, where you are going to build some code or you are going to write some code. So this is where the software developers or the programmers comes into the play. So once your coding is done, then you go for the testing. So unless and until you test your application, you can't go live, or you can't hand over your application to the end user. So that's the reason after designing and coding, you go for testing. So once testing is done, last thing that we see in the any kind of software development is the deployment, where you hand over your final product to the end user. So it's just a basic thing about the software development, I can say, and different life cycles, the stages that it goes to. It's more deep when you go towards the core software development. So there are lots of things. Then if I just talk about its two aspects, or I can say a very important two pillars, is the front end and the back end. So in any software development, the front end and back ends are the key components of an application that work together to create an interactive experience for the users. So if I talk about the front end, so front end, it's something like it's a visual part of an application that users see and interact with, like including some buttons or graphics or text messages. Like if you are using any kind of mobile application, when you see any application in your mobile phones, right? You do the scrolling, you are navigating from one page to another pages, you are using some kind of buttons in that application. So it's a front end side. So we can say it's a user side. So over here, the front end developer basically focus on user experience and design, and they uses this different kind of languages to develop the front end side. So they can use some javascript, some html, or some css. So this kind of language and this kind of focus is for the front end developer. And if I talk about the backend side, the data and the infrastructure that makes an application work, including the servers and the database that provides the information the user sees. So backend developer, I can say, focuses on basically on data management, just hold on. Yeah, they focuses on data management, some server logic, and system performance. So we can say the backend, we also say as a server side technologies, and they backend developer use the different languages like Python or ASP.NET or Java for building those backend process. So this is something that you should know about the software development. So both front end and back end developer needs to collaborate, solve problems, and keep up with the industry trends and the technology. So this was something about the software development side, so that you will get familiar what are the things that is going towards the software development. And if I talk about the role of data in software development. So, in software development, data driven decision making entails using data to support and direct the decision making process. So, decision in the past were like frequently, when I'm just talking about the past thing, when decisions were made using some intuitions or some subjective judgment, which can lead to less than ideal results. But now, with the data analytics, the software developers can now rely on actual facts to guide their decision throughout the whole software development life cycle. So, as we have just discussed the life cycle, right? It consists of planning, designing, coding, testing, and the deployment. So, the quality and the performance of software products are eventually enhanced by the data driven approach to decision making. Then data is also essential in software development for gathering requirements and gaining the important insights into the user behavior and demands. So developer can better understand what would be the consumer preferences, what would be its problems and expectation by analyzing the user data. So with this information, developer may precisely adapt the software solution to meet the user needs, leading to improved user experience and higher level of user satisfaction. So this will ultimately boost user engagement and the long term success, I can say. Then there is some testing and quality assurance. There are the performance optimization, because data is essential for all the performance optimization. It's a crucial area for focus of developers. The developer can identify the performance bottlenecks and some opportunities for development by collecting or evaluating performance related data, such as some resource use, some error rates. So there are lots of things. So performance optimization is also equally important. So there are lots of things that is the role of data in a software developer, I can say. Then if I talk about the different types of data, now let's start with the data. So what is data is like whenever um, anything that is giving you some kind of information, it's a data, right? So whether the data is coming from any kind of files and folders, or any kind of Excel worksheets, or some audios or videos, each and everything is going to give you the data. Even our daily to daily actions are generating a data, right? We are using a phones, it's generating a data. Your watches is generating a data, right? Data is coming from different databases or telemetry signals. So data is coming from everywhere. And the challenge that organizations face is to effectively use that data, that information, and to bring the meaningful insight from that data. So that's the reason the data has been categorized into three types. We have the structured data, we have unstructured data, and we have the, just wait, yeah, and we have the semi-structured data. So now if I talk about the structured data, so let's now start. So as I told you, what is data? anything that is giving you some kind of information is data. So data is going to come from anywhere. So it can be file folders from SQL servers, some databases, some the videos, audios, PDF files, zip files, emails. So from wherever you are getting the information, it's data. So that's the reason data is been now categorized into three different types. So over here, you can see structured data, semi-structured data, and unstructured data. Now, if I talk about the structured data, so as the name suggests, what is structured data? The structured data, it's going to have some kind of structure, right? So when I talk about, so now whenever you will hear about the structured data, always remember that it will be in the form of tables with rows and column. So whenever because it's having some kind of structure, right? The data is going to be fit in a rows and columns. So that's the reason what whenever the data it's in the form of tables with rows and column, that is the structured data. So structured data, as I was saying, it is going to include the tables. Okay, this is the first thing. Then it is going to consist of field with data type. Okay, so these are some now the concept that would be a new for everyone, or I think maybe you all are familiar. But yeah, as I told you, the data is going to be in a rows and column, right? So for example, I'm having one employee table. Okay, and in employee table, what kind of information I'm going to have, what kind of columns I'm going to have, like the name of employee. Okay, then it will be its last name. The other column would be the middle name. Then its age, or I can say its date of birth, its address, its location. So this name, address, locations, they are nothing but a field, or we can say a column. And in that it will be having some information related to that. For example, in name column, I will be having the name of employee. For example, Alice. Okay, so as I was saying, field with a data type. So what are the field? Okay, this is the supplier table. In that table, I'm having this different field over here. Delivery ID, delivery date, supply ID. These are nothing but a field. Same, this is my order table. In that order table, I'm having this different field over here. So here it is saying field with data types. Now, what are the data types? So whatever the values that is being over in your column, the data that we are feeding over there, it's have some different data types. Now, if I say I'm having a name column, so I am typing Alice, John, Joe. So these are the in a form of text. So this will be the that field, the name field is going to have some will be having a text data type. If it is having some kind of numeric value, for example, the order ID or delivery ID, so it will be having some numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It will be having some random numbers. So it will be having the integer data type. Similarly, if there is some kind of date, so if in your table you are having some date column, so it will be having some date data types. So depending upon the data, there will be having the different data types that will be associated with it. Okay, so that's the reason it's saying over here in structured data, it will be in the form of table with rows and column, and all the columns or field will be having some data types. And all this field will be assigned a keys. So basically, what are these keys? So for just now, to understand what are these keys will be used to connect the different table. Okay, so for now, just remember the simple thing. What is the keys? Because that is more advanced part where we'll be discussing in a Power BI about the keys in more detail. But for now, just for the foundational knowledge, these keys will be used for making connection with the different table. Okay, so that is the thing. Then if I talk about the example of the structured data, right? So the databases, or if you are familiar, if you have seen the Excel worksheet, these are the example of the structured data where you have the rows and column. Okay, so this is all about the structured data. Then comes the unstructured data. Now we know the data that is having some kind of structure in the form of table with rows and column, that is the structured data. But as I told you, the data, the anything that is going to give you some kind of information, it's a data. So now we have, because we are not going to get all the data in a table format, right? So the data that is not organized in any kind of predefined manner to meet the standard of structured data, we called as a unstructured data. They doesn't fit into the table, but they have some undefined fields, right? So audio files, right? If you listen to any kind of audio, it's giving you the information, right? So it's a data. Even if I go with a video file, you are watching any kind of video, it's giving you some kind of information. So it's also a data. And PDF that we read, because even if you read a PDF, right, it's in a form of document side. So these are all the datas, but they are not perfectly fitting into the tables, but they are the data. So we have categorized those kind of data as a unstructured data. And other thing, if I talk about the next type of data that you are going to come across, is a semi-structured data. So it's a mix of both structured and non-structured data. Like if you have emails, you have a zip files, so you can see the web pages, some XML files, some JSON files. So these are the example of semi-structured data. They consist of some key values pair, or I can say some tags and attributes. If I talk about just a key value pairs, it have some two columns. One column is of key and other one is of values. So it's a combination of both structured and non-structured. So this kind of data, when you come across, is the example of the semi-structured data. So now we have just talked about the data, right? So as I told you, anything that is giving you the information, it's a data. Now you have to work with all this kind of data. Now as you have started your journey with the data analytics, so this kind of data is going to come up. Now it's your job to arrange those data, how you are going to do analysis on this kind of data. That's the thing that we are going to see and come across, how you will make all this kind of data into the structured, how you're going to store that data, and then how you're going to do analysis on top of it. So these are the things that we are going to see in the data analytics. Okay, so I hope till now it's clear to everyone. Do you have any question regarding the data, these three types of data? Please do let me know. Any question, guys? All good till here?
Hi,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Uh, you mentioned earlier
Hmm.
before you discussed the these three types of data.
Yeah.
You mentioned something about the software development. So we'll be tackling that as well.
No, it just see, when you are software development, it's a complete different thing. But we are right now, as we are starting with the data, so data is used everywhere, right? The data is working as a software developer. Also, you'll be working with the data. Right. So only to give what is the software development, simple process, what is its life cycle, what is front end and what is the back end. Okay, that's it.
Okay.
That's the only important thing that you should know about the software development. Software development, something, it's a core uh, process, right? It's completely different thing. But now, as we have started the data analysis, so where the data analysts can start working, so that's the only part that we are including, just to give you knowledge that you can work on a software development side also. Okay, that's the only thing to include the software development part.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, we are, let's see, data analytics something, it's for everyone, for technical, non-technical. If you know coding, it's fine. If you don't know coding, data analyst can work anywhere. So we are only talking about the things where the you can see the data. Data is everywhere. You can work on data in software side. Now you will be like, when we'll be moving towards more, we'll be exploring different part of data. So that's the only thing, just to get familiar where the different business scenario where the data is going to be used. Okay. All right. Okay, so next part that we are going to discuss is about the transactional versus the analytical system. Okay, so as a data analyst, you will work with the data that is stored in a different types of data management systems. See, only the thing is, data, being a data analyst itself, it's not like we are only going to do analysis on data, but there are lots of things, lots of concept that we should know. It's not, compulsory, but it will be adds the additional point. If we know we are getting a data, but if we know how that data is stored in database, or how the data is coming towards us, it's equally important. That's something the other person job is going to do, but having some kind of information about that, it's equally very important. So that's the reason, let's talk about the transactional versus this analytical system over here. So as I was saying, as a data analyst, you will work with the data that is stored in different types of data management system. So data analyst will also sometimes have access to the source system that provides the data to this management system as part of their role to identify and validate the data. So all this technology work with data at different points. So further, having a firm understanding of basic data schema will help you to identify how data has been joined together, ultimately informing your work as an analyst. So there are two types of data processing that you are going to come across in the world of database. Okay, right now we are talking about the databases. So there is this online transactional processing system that we called as OLTP, and other data processing system that you are going to come across some point of time, that is online analytical processing system. Basically, you're not going to work on OLTP or OLAP, but to have that some basic knowledge about that, it's equally important to understand what is this OLTP and OLAP. So now if I talk about the OLTP, it's a class of software that allows the large number of database transactions in a real time, typically over the internet. So what is this database transaction? Is any kind of change to the data in a system, whether it's an insertion or deletion or query, it's a OLTP. And if I talk about the OLAP technology, it's a class of software that allows some complex analysis to be conducted on large databases without affecting the transactional system. Now, to get you the more information, if I just take a simple example, like every day people perform the transactions that are processed with OLTP. So one familiar example is using an automated teller machine, that is nothing but an ATM, right? So everyone use ATM. They just go, and whenever you make any kind of balance request of the ATM, right? So you are basically querying the database that holds the information of your account, right? So right now, if you are just going to the ATM and you just check your balance, so some kind of backend process is happening. It is querying, or I can say it is fetching your information from the backside, that is from the database, and it's giving you, right? So it's some kind of I can say some kind of change has been occurred in your data system. Even if you make any kind of deposit, or you make or any kind of withdrawal, so then you are nothing but you are creating some kind of record of that transaction. So a key benefit of using this ATM is that you can log into your banking account and you can see the transaction has been occurred. Now imagine the load, the I can say the group or the organization that owns that ATM, and now they wants to analyze the data for all the transactions that are occurred. So imagine you are not only a single person who was making a transaction that day. There would be a like million of people who will be doing the transaction. Now imagine the amount of data or transaction data that has been created, right? People are making withdrawing, they are depositing the money, some are going for directly going for bank, some are using ATM, some are using online, making a payment from online thing. So there are lots of transactions happening. So imagine the data is now been generated. So it is not possible for Excel to even do the basic analysis, like for example the sums or the count of this kind of billions of transaction, and it's very tough for an Excel spreadsheets. So you would not even consider trying to analyze the data this way, or even your machine would not be able to handle those kind of data. So this is where the OLAP technology comes into the play. So this technology allows you to, this kind of high volume of data to be analyzed more effectively, because this OLAP is being used to meant the handle this kind of massive transactions from the OLTP. So this is what a simple example of ATM machine, how the transaction is happening and how the data is being generated. And now will be, as I was saying, it's a billion of transaction of data, and it's not possible to do those kind of transaction. So this is where this is the large amount of data, and it can't be stored in a transactional, database, simple transactional database. For that, you need a big data warehouse where you'll be keeping all your data, right? If you go to your bank and if you ask for the details of 10 years of your data, right, all your banking related data, so those kind of 10 years of data will be stored in a data warehouse. But if you want to just know like a quarterly data, like 1 year of data, financial year data, they will be able to give you it will be stored in that transactional database. But when you go for some kind of historical data, then those kind of data is being stored in the data warehouse, where from there you will be fetching those data, you'll be performing all the data analytics. So this is something that we will be going slowly and steadily, but you should know and understand what is this OLTP and the OLAP thing, right? So once you get your this access, you can just go ahead and you can read whatever the things that I'm telling you. It's all in a recorded video also, and over in a presentation part also. Next up is yeah, now let's get started with the different categories of data that now we need to understand. So as a data analyst, you are not only going to, go for the different process of data analysis, but before that, you also need to understand the different categories of analytics. So it consists of there's four, that is descriptive analysis, we have diagnostic analysis, we have predictive analysis, and we have this prescriptive analysis. So now to understand it in a very easy way, let's take an example of a real life scenario. Okay, so there is this frozen food truck company, and it delivers its product towards the hilly area. Okay, so this is our scenario, and now we will just apply all these different four types of categories of analytics to that. So as I told you, our scenario is it's a frozen food truck company who is delivering its product from past year. towards the hilly area. So let's talk about what is this descriptive analytics. So descriptive analytics is based on live data or it's based on a historical data. Okay, so now we have a scenario that we are having this food truck company who is delivering its product towards the hilly area, like from past year. So from that past year, we will gather all the data related towards the product, like what is the sales volume of the product, or what is the customer preference for the particular product, or in the descriptive analysis we can also gather what is the specific season that product is it's in more demand. So this kind of analysis can be performed under the descriptive analysis, where you are going to gather all the information about that particular product, right? Sales volume, customer preferences, or from that descriptive analysis you can see which product is in more demand in a particular season. So we have now gathered all the data that we need. Then we shift towards the diagnostic analysis. Now in the descriptive analysis we already got the sales volume of a particular product. Maybe I can say the ice cream or some hot beverages, right? So now we can go ahead and go for the diagnostic analysis. So there was the some product who are making more sales, but now there are some product who is not making that much of sale, there is a decrease in a sale. So in diagnostic analysis what we are going to do is we are going to dig more deeper, and we need to find out what is the reason behind of that decreased sale. Now for example, there is this uh, ice cream I can say, right? And there is the you can see some there is a decrease in a sale. So maybe we can go for particular product, or we can just dig more deeper to find out the root costing. So as I told you, it's a frozen food company who delivers its product towards the hilly area. Okay, so just tell me, like, what do you think? What could be the reason of some of the product it's not making that much of sales in a general way? Like it can be anything. So I just want to know your opinion or suggestions. What do you think? Anyone can just tell me. Like I have just given you the scenario that there is this frozen food truck company who delivers its product to the hilly area. So we have already done the descriptive analysis. We have gathered all our data, and we have got the different sales volume and all the customer preferences and all those stuff. So what do you think, guys? What should be the reason of some kind of decrease in the sales? What do you think? Anyone can just, it's just a general thing, according to you.
Maybe they have products which could easily be melted,
Yeah, yeah,
and
true.
yeah, so having these products, it may affect their sale for this
Mm-hmm.
product, since it's easily melt,
Yeah,
it easily
that's,
melts, so they
yeah, yeah,
cannot take it
yeah.
to the hilly area.
Yes, yes, that's the absolute correct. That would be one of the reason, because it's a frozen food truck, and they are having a frozen food, and yeah, they can melt the food. Food's going to get damaged, so that could be a one reason. And yeah, that's very very correct. Also, I will include more things. See now, as it's a frozen good company delivering its products towards the hilly area, right? This is the one reason the food can it's going to get melt. Okay, then there could be a road closure, maybe some natural disaster, maybe a landslide, maybe there could be the wear and tear of the truck. It could be possible. Then there could be also the competitive activities. So there would be a lots of reason of the decrease of the sales. So this is the finding that you are going to do in the diagnostic analysis, right? So first we have started with descriptive analysis, where you will be gather all the data real time also or past data. According to that data, you will just come to know like what are the sales. Right now we have just taken example of sales, so we are just taking looking at those only. So we know from that, okay, so this was the product was not making a sales, and then we have done some diagnostic, we have run some diagnostic analysis, and then we came to know, okay, maybe the food is melting, or there is a wear and tear of a truck. Maybe there is a line, landslide, there is a road closure, there would be some events, change in the events in a particular area, or specific season would be the reason. So that could be any. So this will be the finding that we will be doing in a diagnostic analysis. Then comes the third analytics that we are going to see is the predictive. So now here you can just make a prediction, and it's tell what's likely to happen. So now based on historical data, we can assume some or you can plan some models. Now, if I say about the maybe it's a winter season. Now we already have our analysis, we have done our analysis, descriptive analysis, we have gathered all the data, and we have gathered all the data from the particular season. So now if it is a winter season, we can assume or we can predict that the hot beverages or soups are going to make more sales, depending upon what we have from our findings from the descriptive analysis for the particular season. So you are just going to go and make a prediction. So yes, that would be, I think, the more demand of soups or some hot beverages. So we are going to, stock the inventory accordingly. So this is where you can do the prediction, or you can do the predictive analysis depending upon your finding from your descriptive analysis. Then comes the last part, that is the prescriptive analysis. So now if I talk about the prescriptive analysis, it defines what kind of actions that you are going to take when certain scenario changes, how you're going to handle those situations. Now as one of you have told me that yeah, there maybe the this food is melting, right? So what kind of action that you are going to take over that, right? So you have to go for and give some plan some prescriptive measures, like if we are saying that food is melting, we can add a large ice blocks so that it can prevent that melting when it is delivering its product. Or if there is a road closure, we can go for optimize some different delivery route. Or we can just have other, if there is some any kind of wear and tear of truck or any kind of fuel consumptions, we can have some additional warehouse where we can just keep our stock over there. So there are lots of prescriptive measures that you can give, or some actions that you can perform. So these are also equally important, four types of different categories. Literally the difference between employed. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we were discussing. So these are the four very important categories of analytics. It's equally important for you to keep in mind, right? Descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive. Then next up, now comes the very important, what is our data analysis process. So if I talk about the data analysis, it's a process of telling a story to the data. But when you tell the story through the data, that data should have some meaning to it. So that's the reason the data analysis process goes with this 5 steps, right? So first thing will be defining the question. Here you will be sitting with your stakeholder, your customer, your client, where you will be gathering all the requirement, and you will try to understand what kind of their requirement is, what kind of data that you are going to get. So it will be starting with a defining of questions, where you need to ask the relevant questions depending upon the requirement of your customer, right? If you are designing any kind of report, right, if they are asking you to create a dashboard, and they want they want that I want a pie chart in my dashboard, so you have to give that. So you have to sit, you have to understand each and every part of their requirement, what they want, and all those stuff. So that is the part of the defining the question, requirement gathering. Then once it is done, you understand all the part of that, then you go for the collect the data, right? So this is where your data is going to come up. So when we were discussing the data part, as I told you, data is going to come from anywhere, right? It's not that you are going to get your data in a table format. So you will be getting the data from different source system. So next part of the data analysis process is to collect the data, right, from different source system. Some of the data will be coming from Excel, some of the data you will be getting from some kind of database, some of the data will be coming from different file folders, from your OneDrive, from the SharePoint. So you will be collecting all this data um, from the different multiple source system. So now the data that you are getting is the raw data, because that data doesn't have any meaning right now, because you are having the data from file folders, some PDF, some some kind of XML files. So there are lots of data that is coming to you, and those data are the raw data. So when you get the data from different source system, you have to, that data basically goes under some cleaning and transformation. So next step in a data analysis process is to clean that data, right? So in a cleaning of data, you will be looking for, if there are some if in that data you are having some empty values, if you are having some kind of errors into it. There are lots of process that we do into the cleaning the data. You have to check the correct data types. That is one of the thing that you always need to check. If it is text data types, and somehow when you brought that data into your system, it is coming into like a numeric form, so you have to change, because it's will affect your result when you do any kind of analysis. So there are lots of things that you have to first clean the data. You need to transform that data, and then only you can, that data will be ready for the further analysis. So next step in the data analysis process is to analyze the data, where you will be now start with finding with some trends, some patterns. You will be adding some calculations. If I talk about in terms of Power BI, right, you will be bringing the data from different sources into the Power BI. Then you will be doing all sorts of cleaning and transformation. You will make that data accurate and consistent data. Once it is done, then only you can go for the analyzing of data, where you will be uh, adding more calculations and all those stuff. And after that, the last step comes into the visualization. So once your data is being analyzed, then you will be starting with the making of reports and dashboards, and you will be sharing your findings within your team, within your organization, within your with your stakeholder. So this will be the data analysis process that you are going to see in even in a real world when you will start working in a data domain. This will be the 5 steps that you are going to come across, right? So there is a myth that they say that data analyst is only going to work on report or dashboard. No, that is not a thing. Data analyst starts working with right from here, defining the question, collection of data. But there are the different teams, right? Some people enjoy doing cleaning and transformation. So there would be a particular team that will be doing all the cleaning and transformation. If you like just to create reports and dashboard, so all clean data will be given to you, and you only need to create the dashboards or report. So It's all up to you what you enjoy. Like I enjoy each and every process of it, right? Because being a data analyst itself, I'm not only designing the reports, but I am also working on cleaning the data, how you are going to connect the different tables with each other to analyze those data. So there are lots of stuff, and you all are going to enjoy that when you shift towards the Power BI. But right now you just need to only keep in mind the process of data analysis. This will be the process you will be when you go for the data engineering also, even if you go for data science also. The same steps, only the tools and technologies are different for each data analytics, data engineering, and the data science, but process is the same. Each and every think they are going to do all those stuff, defining the question, collecting the data, cleaning the data, analyzing the data, and going for visualization. So only difference between this all three technologies, right, streams, I can say, it's that different tools and technologies that you are going to go. Now if right now we are focusing on data analytics part, so in our we'll be focusing more towards the Power BI. So I have just explained this data analysis process in terms of Power BI itself. So all these five steps we are going to see and we are going to cover in when we'll be moving towards the Power BI end to end, each and every part of the process. Then you in your whatever the things I have just discussed, you can just go ahead and read all this thing in the canvas thing. Next up that I want to discuss is about the complete about the data ecosystem. Right. Now let's understand what is this data ecosystem. So this is the data ecosystem is an I can say an is an integrated system where you are going to manage your data, store the data, and all the data. So it basically consists of these three important components. We have the infrastructure, we have applications, and we have the analytics. Now if I talk about the infrastructure, right, so as we have discussed a lot about the data, and I told you the data is going to come from different source system. So in your organization you are going to see the data is going to come from different sources. So it should be collected somewhere, right? So where you are going to store all those kind of data. So you need somewhere that you something that you will store that data. So the infrastructure. So unless and until you have any kind of infrastructure, your data would be scattered. So you need some place that where you will be storing that data. So this is where the infrastructure component comes into the play. So here you can store your data in databases, you can store your data on a clouds. So this is where your all the data would be captured, collected, and organized. So this is what the infrastructure is doing, right? And if I talk about the applications, so different applications, like if I talk about the CRM system, it's a customer relationship management system where you will be having all the customer related data. Right. So applications, it's I can say it's a tool or a software where you can feed the relevant data into the ecosystem. So as I talk about the CRM system, in that system you will be having all the data related to the customer. So where you are going to store, this will be integrated with the infrastructure, and that customer data will be stored over here in one of the databases or data warehouses, right? So application is where you feed some relevant data into the ecosystem. If I talk about the ERP system also, in that you will be having some finance related data. So you are feeding some finance related data where you will be creating a reports of budget or expenses. So you where you are going to store that data, you are going to go and store that data in an infrastructure. And now whenever we talk about the data, then analytics comes into the picture, because now you have all your data, you have stored that data. Now you want to perform some analytics on top of it. Like if you want to fetch some data, if you want to summarize that data, if you want some insight from that data, then you'll be performing some analytics. So all these three components are connected to each other, and this make the complete data ecosystem. Okay, so this is what the role of data ecosystem is. You are going to get the data from different sources, right? It can be over here I have just taken an example of CRM or ERP system, right? So CRM side, you'll be getting some customer data, ERP side, you'll be getting some finance data. So where you are going to store that data, for that you need some kind of infrastructure, some kind of databases, some kind of cloud where you are going to store that data, some data warehouses. So your data would be collected over here, and then you will be performing the analytics on top of it. So you can go for making the reports and dashboards and all those stuff. So this is how this all three components work together. Now, next up, if I talk about the CRM versus ERP, see, you all are not going to work on this, but these are the sources from where the data is going to come towards you, right? You will be the data analyst, you will be performing and making reports and dashboard, but you should know from where the data is coming. For example, if you are making a sales dashboard, so you should know the data is going to come from the CRM, right? This is the source system. Here the data is going to come up to you. So that's the only thing you should know about this system. That's the reason we have added different source system from where you would going to get the data in a real time, right? In a real world you will be coming across that. So yeah, so if I talk about now CRM versus ERP, so CRM is a customer relationship management system, whereas it's a enterprise resource planning system. So if I talk about the CRM, right? So both basically this both CRM and ERP are both the software system that helps business improve their efficiency and productivity. They both connect data across the multiple departments and automate the manual tasks. So if I talk about the CRM, it's an external part of the organization, right? If you're going for sales, marketing, or any kind of field services, so those things comes under the CRM. CRM system is going to manage those things. But if I talk about the ERP side, it's the integral part of the system where it's going to manage your finance, some supply chain management, some back end focuses, some inventory. So all those stuff, human resource. So all those stuff is going to come across the ERP. Right. So if I talk about the CRM now, it focuses on the customer facing side of the business. As I told you, it's a external side. It's the data that it's going to have is the customer related data. If you are working on a sales or marketing or any kind of customer support side, field service side, so CRM is going to have that customer related data, whereas as I told you, ERP, it focuses on the organization as a whole. ERPs, it can be used by finance department or any other back office functions. So ERP focuses on financial data, where if you are working on CRM side, if you have given the task of creating a dashboard for customer demographic and any kind of you have to do analysis on the customer side. So you will be having the CRM where you will be getting the customer related data. Then you will be having the CRMs and ERP sites. So they are good for businesses that want to attract and retain a customers. And if you want to manage some resources or some assets or budgets or expenses, then you go for the ERP side. So integrating CRM and ERP system can create a single source of truth that improves the productivity, sales, and the customer experience. So now, as you have started your journey, CRM and ERP are something a very different tool, But when you will be doing or you will be making any kind of reports, then you may come across the CRM and ERP. One of the source system would be there when you will be working. So having some basic knowledge about the CRM and ERP is equally very important for you to understand. Then comes the business intelligence. Okay, so now we are moving towards the BI tool. So now if I talk about the BI tool, earlier what was used to happen when organization have to do some kind of analysis, right? So they would go towards the manual process where they were entering the data into the Excel sheet. So there would be, it was very time consuming. The data processing was very slow, and it was prone to error. So that's the reason this BI tool came into the picture, where it automated that task very easily. So business intelligence combines the analytics, data mining, data visualization, data tools, and all the infrastructure. So one of the currently top BI tool that we are going to, study is the Power BI, right? So there are different tools that are being available, as I told you, Power BI is something that we are going to cover. It's provided by the Microsoft. Then we also have a Tableau that is being given by the Salesforce. And then we also have the another BI tool, that is Zoho Analytics by Zoho. So there are different number of BI tools that are available, but the topmost that we have, and one of the easy and powerful tool that we are going to come across, is the Power BI. So we will see and unleash the power of the Power BI soon. Then next thing that I need to discuss is about the data warehouse. Just give me a second. Yeah. Now let's talk about some storage system, right? We started with a discussion of data. We have seen different types of data. Then we have saw some different categories of data. Then we also talk about the data analysis process, and we have also seen some data processing system. Now we are going to talk about the data warehouse. So what is this data warehouse? Data warehouse is where you are going to store all the data that is coming from wide range of sources within your organization. Okay, so where the organization keeps all its data, it keeps in the data warehouse. But what happened in the data warehouse is the data is going to come from different source system. Okay, maybe data source one would be 5 folders. Maybe data source two is any kind of Excel sheet, and your something data would be in from the database. Now you can see all the formats are very different. The data over from here is coming from database, right? Here from Excel sheet, and from here maybe I can say the data is coming from PDF files, right? So each and every data that is coming from different source system, their formats are different, right? This is the date from database, it's coming from database, right? If I say SQL Server database, there the data is in tabular format, in with rows and column. Okay, so that is this one format. I'm saying the data is coming from PDF file, so that is not a structured one. Then over here the data is coming from different file folders, it's have some different format. So whenever you are storing the data in data warehouse, we store the data in a structured format. So whatever the data that is coming from different source system, it goes under this ETL process, that stands for extract, transform, and load. Okay, that's the ETL process. It's going to extract that data, it is going to transform that data. Transforming means it's going to clean that data, and then it is going to load that data. So it is going to check for all the missing values, for errors, for change in the data types. So it will bring all the data in a one format, and then it is going to get stored in the data warehouse, right? So data warehouse is where you are going to get all your data, and it contains a large amount of historical data. As I told you earlier, when you go to bank, if you want to see the 1 year of data, they will quickly give you, right? But if you want to see the 10 years of data, that kind of data will be stored in a data warehouse. That is what the historical data. And from here, you can directly fetch the data, and you can directly start doing reporting and visualization, because the data that is being stored in a data warehouse is a cleaned and transformed data, right? So you don't have to do any kind of cleaning and transformation. You can directly fetch the data from data warehouse, and you can start your reporting, right? So this is what the advantage of data warehouse is. It's one of the secure data and clean data, you can say. So this is what the data warehouse. Next up, if I talk about the next part, that is data mart. So now I'm talking about different storage system, right? We have now just talk about the data warehouse where the data is going to get stored. Next storage system is a data mart. So I can say the data mart is a subset of the data warehouse. Now data warehouse is where you are going to have all the kinds of data, right? Like whole it's having the wide range of data of whole of the organization. So what data mart is going to do is, and data warehouse is something for example, I am the member from the sales department, and I just want to fetch the data that is related to the sales only. Okay, but now if I go towards the data warehouse, I will have to, go and search and doing all sorts of fetching from that data warehouse. It's going to take a lot of time, because in that you will be having all the company's data, right? I am the only salesperson. I just want my sales data. So instead of keeping that data into the data warehouse, we will just create a subset of that data warehouse. Now I'm having the sales data in one of my data mart. I'll be having inventory data. Similarly, I will be having only finance data, so that like salesperson will be only using the sales data. So it doesn't need to go for the data warehouse and look for the sales data only. So data mart, I can say, is the subset of the data warehouse. So in general term, if I can say, if data warehouse is a shopping mall, then data mart is the small shops in that data in that data in that I can say shopping mall, right? But unlike that shopping mall, right? When we go to shopping mall and we can enter in any kind of shop, but that doesn't happen over here in a data mart. Only the person who have that access, like I'm a salesperson, I have the access to the sales data, then only with some kind of role, then only I can access that data. So the lots of security measures are already been taken. So in data warehouse and data mart, the data will be in a structured format, okay, and they go under the ETL process. That's the reason all the data you that is been stored into that, it has been cleaned. So this was all about the data warehouse and the data mart. Now, next up, if I talk about the tables used in data warehousing, right? So there would be a number of tables that would be stored in data warehouse. As I told you, that there would be the structured data. And when I say structured data, it will be in the form of rows and columns, right? So tables that is used in data warehouse, the different kind of tables that we have, one is fact table, and the other is the dimension table. So now if I talk about, see, this fact table, dimension table will be explained in more detail in a Power BI concept. But for basic part, fact table, which going to have some the data that is it would be change in some matrix or measure. For example, if I just take an example of sales table, in that I will be having one column of price, some or I can say quantity, right? So this kind of columns that is having the data, it's going to be changed, right? The product is the quantity of the product is always going to be changed, and the price of the product is going to be changed. So this kind of data is held in a fact table. And if I talk about the dimension table, it holds some categorical information or some attributes. Let's see the example. Right, so this is a sales table, fact sales table. It consists of product IDs, some different IDs I can say, and there is this total quantity. So as I told you, it holds some metrics and measures that changes frequently. And if I talk about the dimension table, it holds some categorical information. So if I have a customer table, right, in that I'm having the customer name, I'm having a customer city and the customer state. So this kind of data, it's not going to be changed frequently, right? Customer name is going to be the same. Customer city, right? It's not going to change its city or state. So this kind of data is being held in the dimension table. And if I talk about the fact table, here you'll be having the data that keeps on changing. And these IDs are basically the keys that are being used to connect with the other tables. So that is the more part of Power BI. So we'll not go deep into that. But now just to understand what is the fact table and what is the dimension table. And now what kind of schemas that is being used in data warehouse. So schema is, it's like how you're going to connect this table with each other, because individual table is not going to give you any insight, or it doesn't make any sense unless and until you connect those different table, right? We have a sales table, we have a product table, we have a reseller table. So there will be lots of table that you will be having in your data warehouse, and how you're going to connect those data, and how you're going to associate those table. So for that we have these keys. So two type of schemas that you are going to come across is star schema and the snowflake schema. So if I talk about the star schema, so for now, just for understanding, it is going to have one fact table to which dimensions table will be connected. Okay, so it resembles like a star. That's the reason it is called as a star schema. You'll be having one fact table to which different tables, dimension tables will be connected. Whereas if I talk about the snowflake schema, it is also going to have one central fact table to which dimension tables are connected, but here there is also the relationship between, or there is also a connection between the dimension to dimension table. So that's the only difference between the star and the snowflake schema. So star, you will be having one fact table to which dimension tables are connected. Whereas if I talk about the snowflake, it is going to have one fact table to which dimension to dimension tables are connected. But along with that, there is also connection between the dimension to dimension table. Only you don't need to go deep into this thing, right? It just added over here, but for now just only understand what is star and the snowflake, because that is more the advanced part when we'll be moving towards, and how these relationships are making between the tables, how these keys are important. Then there are different kinds of relationship. There are one to one, one to many, many to many. There are lots of concept to understand. So for the basic understanding, just remember the point that star is going to have one fact table to which dimension tables are connected. Whereas if I talk about the snowflake, it's going to have relationship between the fact table and dimension, but also it's going to have relationship between dimension to dimension table. Only remember these 2 points for this. Then there is another storage system that I want to discuss is about the data lake. Now we have talked about the data warehouse and the data mart, right? We are storing the data, but the data that is being stored over there is in a structured format. But now the organization, we always don't the data is it keeps coming. So you have to hold that kind of data, because when you are storing the data into the data warehouse, it goes under the ETL process. After that only it can store. But now the unstructured data is coming, and it's keep coming in your organization. You need some place to keep that data. So data lake is a place where you can hold the both the data, whether it is structured or unstructured. So you can keep that raw data into the data lake. Whereas if when you were storing the data in data warehouse, that data was gone under the ETL process. So it was some structured data, right? It was ready for your analysis. But when you want to only hold some kind of raw data, then you will be using the data lake to store those kind of data, and they will be stored as it is. Like if it is PDF format, it will be in that original format only. And when I was talking about the data warehouse, I told you that all the data is being bring into one similar format, then only it can go towards the data warehouse. So over here in data lake, you can keep your data in a original format. You can, after that, if you want to do some analysis on it, then you will fetch the data from data lake house, then go under the cleaning and transformation, and after that clean data, you will be starting working on your analysis part or report and dashboard. Okay, that's the major difference between the data warehouse and the data lake. Then also we are going to talk about the low code and no code mobile and web business applications. So in our data analytics course, right, we are also going to talk about the power apps, right? So that is something, for that you don't need to be, see, if I talk about the software development, traditional software development, you're the developer, you need to know the different programming languages, right, for when you are making any application. But when you use this low code or no code mobile or web applications, right, you don't need to be a hardcore developer or programmer. Without a knowledge of coding, you can create a very nice and cool application by using this business app. And that is what we have included the power apps into our data analytics. If you go for the standalone power apps, right, it's very expensive course, but you will see how to create an applications that will be for that in a very easy way, and it doesn't take that much of time. So in our data analysis team, we are also going to talk a lot about the power apps that will be used for where you will be creating one of the application. Then we have the data engineering part, right? So yeah, right now we have discussed all the part of data analytics, right? The next stream that we have is data engineering, and other thing is that we are having a data science. But unless and until you have that foundational knowledge of data analytics, you can't move towards the data engineering or data science. Once you have done that, then you can directly jump towards the data science, whatever your interest is, or you can go for the data engineering. Data analytics is something that is going to build your all the foundation. Same thing is happening in a data engineering, right? It's going to uh, you know uh, collect the data, it's going to ingress the data and transform the data. But as I told you, whatever the stream that you are going to go, all the tools and technology will be different, right? So ETL tools will be different. You will be using some SQL and Python to fetch the data. So that would be in a data engineering. So that's the reason SQL and Python has been included in a data analytics, so that if you want to switch towards a data engineering, you can do that, because you will have that understanding how to use the SQL or Python for it. Even you can see the different storage system. These are some different query engines, right? I have worked with a Snowflake, where I was fetching the data from Snowflake. I integrated that data with Power BI, and then I created the dashboard on top of it. So lots of thing is there. You have once you enter the data domain, right, you will start exploring all those things. And yes, yes, Nabir, I can see the hand raise. Yeah.
So when you said the query engines, so the first thing I understand is a storage area where we can store the data.
Yeah.
So when you say the query engines means what exactly? So they are, so it is similar to like a what you call the SQL area where we
Yeah,
write.
yeah, exactly. This is the place from where you are going to fetch the data. Right now, you have stored the data, you have brought the data, you have done all the cleaning and transformation. You
Yeah.
can be yeah, you have just stored the data anywhere. Now you want to take that data. How you're going to bring fetch that data? So for that, you will be needing some query engines, right? These are the SQL is one query engine. That is the basic one that we are going to go for when we'll be working for SQL stuff. But when you go for Apache Spark, for that you should know the Python, right? Then there are different query engines. We have a Snowflake. I have worked on Snowflake, where I have created tables and stored all the data. Then you have to write some queries, so that you can fetch those data from there. So there are these are the different, as I told you, processes are same, only the tools and technologies are different, and it would be the advanced one. Like for the data engineering is advanced, data science is something more advanced. So it's all up to you, if you want to, once your data analytics is done. It is signed out. Okay, am I audible?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay, I just got a notification that I have been signed out from the Zoom. Okay, it's fine. Yeah,
My
so
it's
yeah.
clear. So basically, so I haven't seen SQL here, so that's why I thought to raise that because
No, no, no. It just it's a only last part. I'm just explaining
no,
what
no,
are
no,
the
no. I
things that
understand
yeah,
because
yeah,
I
yeah,
am
yeah.
very familiar with the Snowflake, which I
Okay.
know that because if
You
anything, for
have worked
example,
with Snowflake?
no, no, I didn't. I'm here. I heard so Snowflake several
Uh-huh.
times. Many
Yeah,
people
yeah,
who have been used also.
yeah, yeah,
So that is a
yeah.
total eraser. So to make sure that what I'm thinking is correct. Oh,
No, 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 no. We are going to go only for it. Just as I told you, just
no,
data
huh,
foundation things. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
okay. No, no,
Yeah,
I just want to
yeah.
make sure what I'm thinking is very much similar to what you are telling me as well. So that just nothing more. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you. Yeah, so as I was talking about the data engineering part, right? So there are, yeah. So even as I told you, when you go for data engineering, or you go for even for the data science, right? So it's every tools and technologies are different, but the process will be the same, right? Even for the data science, right? It's a very advanced form of this data analytics, and I have started working on this machine learning part, right? It's one of the very it's actually I was very curious, and I wanted to learn all those things. So I just started, and data science is something, you go for all this exploratory, and you make some predictive models, you make the machine learning models, you train the model. So there are lots of things, but we are not going to go deep, because right now our focus is on only the data analytics. So this was all the different things that we have covered over here. So I hope everyone understood the concept. It was just a basic, right? Don't worry about the what is that fact table, dimension table, relationships, and that schemas. It are the all the they are all the part of, I can say, the Power BI, right? So each and every concept will get clear there. It was just to get you all familiar with the data analytics. That this would be the things that you are going to, go and cover. Yeah, so that was all the part. Now I think you got familiar with terms and terminology of this thing. So now when you will be shifting towards the Excel or SQL and Python, then you will be shifting towards the Power BI and Power Apps. So whatever the things that we have covered and we have talked about, you will see there. Okay, each and every part of it. So I hope everyone understood. Yes, Nabir, Gilbert. And you will have your regarding your access. I will just go and give you the access of it. I think I have your emails, or else I will ask my team, because I think for both of you, you don't have the access, right, towards the
Yeah.
Canvas application. Okay.
True, I don't
Okay.
have. The
Yeah, by
application
tomorrow.
that you
Yeah.
said is it's your application, right? That means the application which you guys have developed to see all the recordings and everything.
Yes, yes, yes. That's that, because that would be the place where you will be having all the presentations, recording, and all the assignments that you will be working on. So all the resources are there in a Canvas application. So I will just ask my team right now after this session. Okay.
Once
I hope.
one
Yeah. Yeah.
one last question. So this
Mhm.
recording, whatever you're going to say in the Canvas, since when till when I can access that? After the
You
course
can.
also.
No. See, now, right now you have just finished your data foundation.
Yeah.
I will give you the access of that. And next, I think your Excel will be going to start. I will also give you the access for Excel. So once
Okay.
you finish
Fine.
Excel,
Fine.
then you will get the access of SQL, then
Okay.
Python. So you will be having continuously, you will be getting access, and that you have that access for you. Okay, so don't worry about it.
Yeah,
And
I
we
just
can
asked
even.
this just to understanding and how the access will be provided and nothing more, because uh, I have done a what do you call a short term Power BI course as
Mhm.
well. They
Okay.
in between actually I was not able to continue. I discontinued the course due to some reasons, and I was
Uh-huh.
telling this to your organizers as well for the same course, right? So then they actually told me to they actually removed the access, and they said you have to you have to come with like a new student and start. So that's why I asked
No,
because
no, 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 that is not something over here. Once you have
yeah,
your access, you will be having, if you, I think you will be having for 1 year. If you don't, if you need more, if you want to extend that, we will do that. Okay. So don't worry about those things.
because it's
You
a
will be having.
because we are a working people, so could be a chance there could be a chance
Yes,
that
yes, that's the reason, because
that is
all
why I
are,
had to.
yeah, all are working, and it's it's not possible to understand each and every part in a one go. So don't worry about that,
Yeah,
Nabir. You will get your access. I will just make sure by tomorrow you will get both of you will get the access of it, and you can
wonderful.
start. Yeah, you can start reviewing. You can start exploring the Canvas application. If you face any issues while accessing those, just you can WhatsApp us. So any one of us will guide you with how to access. Only you just need your ID and password. I think you will get that, the same email ID that you are having, no,
Yeah, yeah,
the mail that you have got. I think that would be the same one. Okay.
yeah.
All right. Okay. Okay. So now I will see you directly when I will be having a Power BI. Okay. I will be the mentor for that. But now you, everyone, I think you can all get started with Excel and explore all those stuff.
No
Okay.
problem. Thank you.
Okay. Bye, everyone. Bye. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Thank you.
And I will make
Bye.
sure, yeah, I will make sure you will get access by tomorrow.
Yeah, no
Okay.
problem.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.